last week's much hyped Trump apology speech where he pretended to express regret for some of the things that he said over the course of this campaign that may have offended people? Well, you know what the expiration date on these Trump pivots are, right? In or around 100 hours. Well, this one was no different. That's right. As Susan Wright reports at Red State yesterday, the kinder, gentler Trump goes on a fresh Twitter attack a day after his campaign manager, the newest one, Kellyanne Conway, the amnesty lobbyist, says he doesn't hurl insults. and notice how the tense of that. He doesn't hurl insults, not he didn't hurl insults. So she was trying to create a fresh start vibe, like, well, he doesn't hurl insults anymore. Yeah, that didn't last long, did it? This is why I don't understand why Trump supporters, not just forget why, how they can continue to rationalize and make excuses for this guy. You can't rely on anything he says. I mean, I guess back to my last days on Constitution Radio, and I asked Alex Ferguson on the air, because Alex Ferguson said, well, at least we know Trump will do this or that. And I said, how do you know? Doug Gibbs, how do you know? You can't rely on anything he says. He is an inveterate congenital liar. And this is just redundant proof of it. So much for the kinder, gentler, more mature and presidential Donald Trump. He is who he is, folks. He's the same manic psychopath he always was, and should never, under any circumstances, be put in a position where he can treat the nuclear codes the way he treats his Twitter account, as a weapon to get back at those who don't revere him. Yesterday's target for his unhinged, thin-skinned lunacy, the hosts of MSNBC's Morning Joe. This quote comes to us from thepolitico.com. The show offered its usual criticism of the GOP nominee, which is rich, given that they spent that same program, spent the primary season promoting the hell out of Donald Trump. Returning from one commercial break to the tune of Everything is Awesome from the Lego Movie is a clip of Trumplican National Committee Chairman Reince Priebus telling ABC on Sunday that Trump had a great week and is getting into a groove. Everything's awesome, Mika Brzezinski said. Everything's awesome, co-host Joe Scarborough repeated. Brzezinski offered, this is the part I don't understand. You just have to look at this as an opportunity, right? You can't pretend this is okay. Scarborough mocked Trump in response, tweeting, Hillary Clinton is targeting key swing states today while Trump starts his day obsessed with cable news hosts while channeling Gawker. Sad. Close quote. And you know what? That was completely valid. Their criticism is completely valid. Here's what he tweeted. Here's what Trump, the new, improved presidential Trump, tweeted yesterday. Quote, someday when things calm down, I'll tell the real story of Joe Scarborough and his very insecure longtime girlfriend, Mika Brzezinski. Two clowns! Imagine what he'd do with the nuclear codes. Oh, but he's a counterpuncher. Oh, Lord. You know, Hillary Clinton, as horrid and corrupt as she is, knows the game. She's on the ground and making her play in key states while Trump is causing distractions that only hurt his own campaign. It's almost like he's doing it deliberately. If he ever had a real message to begin with, and he doesn't, nobody would know it. I mean, he keeps changing it all the time, so all that will be remembered about his campaign is inflammatory rhetoric, Twitter wars, and the idiocy of his slavish followers. For the slow-witted Trump supporters, aforementioned, they love to say he's an outsider and not a politician, as if that's a real reason to support him. Now, get a load of what Susan Wright writes next, because it's something I've been saying for over a year now. These are the same people, Trump supporters, who, if they had to have major surgery, would refuse to go on the table if a well-trained surgeon was to perform the operation. They would insist that the guy working the checkout at the corner grocery store be the one to cut into them, because he's not an insider. He's not a surgeon. It's the same logic, folks. Absolutely, positively the same logic. I mean, and in the same way, they fail to see how dumb their support of Trump is when his biggest qualification in their eyes is that he doesn't know what he's doing. Trump's latest Twitter rampage comes a day after his new campaign manager, Kellyanne Conway, stated to ABC News, his newest campaign manager, that stated to ABC News that Trump doesn't hurl personal insults. And here's another Trump tweet from yesterday. Tried watching low-rated Morning Joe this morning. Unwatchable. Mika Brzezinski is off the wall, a neurotic and not very bright mess. And by the way, this is not... I'm not offering any defense of Joe Scarborough or Mika Brzezinski, but I mean, doesn't this just illustrate the point? And this is a show that promoted him during the primaries. Where's his appreciation for that? But how does this help him? I mean, either way, Conway was being sarcastic, or she's just one more massive liar and with no conscience on the Trump on the Trump train.
Come on! Nice and easy! Don't look down! That's it! You're doing fine!
I would prefer to think of Ms. Conway as another casualty of Trump mania, but nobody forced her to become Trump's latest campaign manager and shill, did they?